Coming up tonight on VCU InSight.
I'm Kristen Dennis at the new VCU basketball training facility, designed to help a new season of Havoc be nothing but net.
I'm Nichelle Pearson. This pharmacy is closing its doors after nearly 200 years. I'll tell you why.
And a program is helping war veterans find a new best friend.
All this and more.
VCU InSight starts right now.
From the Richard T. Robertson School of Media and Culture at Virginia Commonwealth University, named Best Student Newscast in the Mid-Atlantic, this is VCU InSight.
Good evening and welcome to VCU InSight. I'm AC Stokes.
And I'm Matthew Foltz. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news tonight, VCU has officially opened its new basketball development center just in time for the season to begin.
The $25 million facility is now seen as one of the best in the nation. InSight's Kristen Dennis is at the basketball facility with more.
Good evening, AC and Matthew. Both men's and women's basketball coaches say they plan to wreak havoc on and off the court with their new facility.
The new VCU Basketball Development Center was built to aid both women's and men's basketball. The center has separate courts for both teams. The facility also includes a rehabilitation center, a weight room off the courts, a film room, a dining hall, a lounge area, and hydrotherapy pools, which include an underwater treadmill. It is Coach Beth O'Boyle's second year here at VCU, and she says it's something to be excited about.
Yeah, it's awesome. It really is unbelievable.
Coach O'Boyle and her players have been practicing in the center since the start of the season.
Our players are just so excited to be in a place like this, and it really is something that they are very grateful for. One of the things that I know is that they just talk about that they get an opportunity to be here.
Of the $25 million total cost, $14.5 million was raised from private donations, with the remainder going into student fees. However, the tuition was not raised.
For senior guard and forward Daisy Alazy, the new facility shows potential for improvement on and off the court.
We're in here getting treatment, recovering our bodies, hitting the weight room, and then it just helps prepare us to hopefully win a tournament, A10 tournament.
Pictures throughout the facility show the center was designed to focus around the teams.
I really do think it'll help elevate our recruiting to a whole different level. When players, recruits walk in here, there's definitely a wow factor.
VCU hopes this facility will be one of the best in the nation. So far, coaches and players agree. Back to you, Matthew.
Thank you, Kristen. On November 10th, Fight for 15's national movement was in full swing, with Richmond doing its part to be heard. InSight's Alonzo Smalls in the studio with more details. Alonzo, what exactly is this movement about?
Good evening, Matthew. It's about change. Some workers say they feel underpaid and are fed up, and now they're standing up for what they feel they deserve.
It's regular people united by a common goal. Feet away from City Hall is a Fight for 15 rally. The mood is festive, but the overall message stern. The minimum wage of $7.25 is not enough to survive.
I'm out here because I'm tired of working hard and not being compensated for.
Laura Lynn Clark is chair with the Home Care Chapter for Virginia 512 SEIU, the Service Employee International Union. She's one of more than 500 active members fighting for an increase in minimum wage and a union.
We don't make our voices heard. They don't know how much we want it. They have theirs. We have nothing.
Most of the members fighting for a wage increase are workers in child care, home care, and fast food, hoping that one day change prevails.
Home care workers are private employees but often receive public funds, making their cause unique. Only 2 states, Massachusetts and Oregon, recently agreed to raise the minimum wage rate for home care workers to $15 an hour, making Virginia and 48 other states still fighting for their cause.
I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win.
While Clark believes the rally was a success, she understands some are still opposed to the wage increase. However,
why? My question to all of those that are opposed, why?
Clark tells me that January 25th and 26th of next year is Home Care Lobby Day. It's when home care workers from around the state will come together and present their grievances to the General Assembly and speak directly to state senators and delegates. Back to you, Matthew.
Thank you, Alonzo. With deer mating season underway, VDOT is urging drivers to use caution when driving through wooded areas. Virginia drivers have a 1 in 97 chance of hitting a deer, according to recent insurance industry claims. This ranks the state 10th in the nation for deer vehicle collisions. VDOT and the Department of Game and Inland Fisheries are urging commuters to be aware of deer. Deer tend to travel in groups and come out between dusk and dawn. So if you see one, slow down and be alert for more to come.
It's only a week out from Thanksgiving, and that means Black Friday. With all of the shopping going on during the holidays, we have some smart tips if you plan to visit an ATM. As InSight's Alyssa Sims reports, many people may not know what skimming is or the dangers it can bring to your finances.
Financial fraud can happen anywhere, even at local ATMs. However, most people don't even know what the term ATM skimming means.
Well, I've heard of it. I don't really know a whole lot about it. It's never happened to me. I don't know really much about what it is, though.
According to the FBI's website on ATM skimming, it is a growing criminal activity that some experts believe costs U.S. banks hundreds of millions of dollars annually.
An ATM skimmer is a small device that is placed here where the card slot is. Customers can swipe their card like normal, but the holders of the skimmer can download your information once you remove it.
These devices can be placed anywhere, at any ATM, gas station, or store register. President of the Virginia Better Business Bureau, Tom Gallagher, says skimming can lead to much bigger problems.
Skimming is one thing. When they start stealing our identity, our ID theft, that can go on and on and on and on for a very long time.
The recent arrest of 2 men for ATM skimming in Chesterfield sheds more light on the rise of financial frauds. Chesterfield Lieutenant Steve Grahowski, who made the arrest, says how easy it is to be skimmed.
Once I have the information that's on your strip, then I can just take any card with a strip on it, whether it's a Home Depot card or whether it's a gift card, to a store, and just overwrite that information.
Grahowski then says that if anything looks suspicious when using an ATM or store register, be sure to stop the transaction and to call the police right away. For VCU InSight, I'm Alyssa Sims.
Police also say be aware of suspicious people lurking around bank ATMs. That may be a sign that there's something on the machine that shouldn't be.
The Richmond French Festival is set for March. Right now they're looking at plans to remember the victims of the Paris attacks. InSight's Taylor Gleason sits down with one of the co-founders of that event.
I'm here with Dr. Peter Kirkpatrick this evening. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for inviting us, Taylor.
Yeah, so obviously it's been a little bit of a chaotic weekend recently. Can you go ahead and tell us, since you're involved with the French Film Festival directly, how your weekend went in regards to staying in touch with your actors and those involved?
Right. Well, in the history of the festival now we have over 600 actors, directors, film producers, cinematographers who are part of truly a close-knit circle. And so Francoise and I, we both spent the weekend on the telephone, checking emails, and making sure that all of our friends and also our family in France were safe. And so it's been a busy, since Friday night, it's been pretty nonstop.
Yeah, I could imagine. And then I guess I should go ahead and ask, just to start off, how did you even get involved with the French Film Festival?
Well, it's a festival's entering its 24th year. I came to VCU 24 years ago, and our chair of the Department of Foreign Languages came into my office that first year and said, what can you and Francoise, with all your contacts in France, what can you create as an event that will attract more students to the French major? So we thought about different things, and we said, well, let's try film. We did that here on VCU's campus the first year. We had to call France immediately to get permission to show the films again because we had so many people turn out. So we knew we touched a core, and since then, every year it's just grown until what it's now, which is considered by the French film industry to be the festival outside of France.
Yeah, you and your wife are two, chief people, in regards to the French community in Richmond. It's very true. And with that being said, and what happened this past weekend, do you and your wife plan on incorporating the attacks that happened in France into the festival this upcoming year?
Yeah, that's a great question, and it's something we've been talking about since Friday because, one, the French cinema industry, they see the Bird Theater, where we have the annual festival, as truly being part of France. And so even this weekend, and the French flag is at the Bird Theater at half-mast. We've been in the office, obviously, planning not only for what type of films. We already had films that we were thinking about next year concerning immigration in Europe and in France, but obviously we'll have films and special events around what happened this past weekend. One which is really important, we just finished talking with the U.S. National Forest Services here in the United States, and the French Film Festival office with VCU, University of Richmond students, will be planting trees in the National Forest in the Shenandoah Valley in commemoration of each of the victims this weekend.
Do you think with what happened this past weekend and with incorporating those things into your film festival that it'll change the mood of the French Film Festival this upcoming year in any way? I think it puts a more of awareness on aspects of France and Europe, but also I think by the fact that despite what's happened, the French have announced we're still going to hold starting November 30th for 2 weeks, the International Conference on Climate Change. So that's going to take place. A lot of the victims were young people who were in theaters, concert halls, stadiums. And so I think this idea of also the youth, the next generation, who's very in tune about the ecology, about the environment, about what they eat, I think that type of theme is something that we're going to see coming more and more out, and that we'll probably have to take account for, not just by planting the trees in the National Forest, but also in themes with the films that we'll have at next year's festival. Okay, yeah. And then do you believe that what is going on with the French Film Festival this past year too, and continuing onward, that has sparked your love for cinema even more? Oh, definitely. In fact, knowing the filmmakers and talking to them, they send us, when we do the selections of films that we go through, we see all the feature films and over 300 short films that the French make each year. The directors and send us their scripts to read before even they shoot films, so we're truly connected to them, learn so much, and I share that with my students in class. Okay, that's great. Yeah, so I've been speaking here with Dr. Kirkpatrick this evening. Thanks again for joining us. Thanks, Taylor.
Nearly 20,000 runners took to the streets of Richmond last weekend for the 38th annual Richmond Marathon. Athletes from all over Virginia and out of state participated in the race. The course ran through the scenic and historic sections of the River City veteran Kenyan road racer. Hillary, too, completed the men's race in a little over 2 hours. Hirat Gwangul of Ethiopia won top female at about 2 hours and 40 minutes. The Anthem Richmond Marathon is certified as a Boston Marathon qualifier.
Richmond City Schools are taking part in a new national campaign, one that gives parents the extra push to be more involved in their child's academics. It's every parent's dream to see their child do well in school, but in the Richmond City, some school board members say it's a struggle to get parents involved at some schools.
Fox Elementary, where the PTA raises over $100,000 every year. All the parents are pretty active.
Richmond School Board member Kim Gray says there are extremes within her schools in the 2nd District, and not all have easy funding.
And on the other extreme is Carver, where they've struggled to get their PTA up and running and operational. Richmond City Schools launched the campaign on November 3rd with a goal to get parents more involved in their child's education through what they call everyday moments. But what makes this campaign unique is that it allows parents to simply capture a Be There moment with their child and upload to social media using the hashtag BeThereRPS in the school's name. Schools that show the greatest parent involvement by the end of the month will receive school board recognition, a Be There banner, and a $500 donation to a parental engagement program such as the PTA.
So Be There is awesome. It's finally something that engages younger parents and us in-between parents.
Linwood Elementary PTA president and parent Priscilla Wright believes that the campaign will really benefit the schools that do not already have high parent engagement.
That's the one thing that your kids will always remember, is that, oh, when I was in 4th grade, my mom helped me make a piñata. It's the little things that make a difference. So.
Richmond is the latest of over 100 school districts nationwide using the Be There campaign. It is set to run for 2 years and is paid for by Richmond City Public Schools.
One young Henrico girl has given care packages a unique twist. InSight's Denasia Pascal joins us from the newsroom with more. Good evening, Denasia.
Good evening, AC. It's not every day you hear of a 12-year-old business owner, but when she's not busy in the classroom, she's running her own business and spreading long-distance love.
No more hatred throughout the world. Come on, come on.
Bella Geary is turning heads through inspirational messages. This sparked her to begin her own business, helping local charities. Her business, Open When, is a series of personalized letters for loved ones to open when they are away.
Well, I think that Open When is important because it can make a lot of people happy and it can show people that they're important and it'll make them feel love.
It all started as a gift idea for her oldest brother, Michael, to show that she cared.
Found these on Pinterest and I was like, whoa, this is an awesome idea.
With the help of her mom, Tabitha Tate, a creative gift idea turned into a family business with Bella in the forefront.
It was one of those emotional things where I looked at her and thought, God, that's a great gift. Like, I would love to get that, and I was so proud of her.
It's run with the help of the entire family.
Everything is made here in their home, from the iron-on logo to all the items that come inside.
The business has brought this family together after a tragic loss.
After we lost her dad, I wanted to make sure that I was closer to home and had time with the kids, and this was one of those things.
Matthew Geary was a well-known local lawyer who committed suicide in 2012. Bella, the youngest of 5, wanted to raise money for depression following her father's death.
Yeah, we love it. I mean, I think that's probably one of the most important things is after losing somebody, you know,
All the proceeds go towards the Cameron Gallagher Foundation. The foundation supports teenage depression and anxiety. You can find these care packages at local stores and online at openwen.com. Back to you, AC.
Thank you, Denasia. VCU is welcoming a new organization to campus. The National Association for Ethnic Studies is now making Richmond its home. Janice Milan is in the studio with the president of the group.
I'm here today with Ravi Perry, president of the National Association for Ethnic Studies. Thank you for being on the show.
I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much.
So the National Association for Ethnic Studies is the oldest ethnic association. Can you tell me a little bit about your involvement as president for the organization?
I was elected president at our 43rd annual conference, which was held last March on the campus of Mississippi State University, where I was previously employed before coming here to VCU. I've been involved with the National Association for Ethnic Studies for a long time. My dad was one of the original founding members back in the 70s, and I was following his coattails around for years, even before I was an undergrad, and then I became a graduate student representative at one point and was off of the board for a while and then got back on as vice president, and now I'm president.
And I know they just moved their headquarters to VCU. Can you tell me a little bit about what encouraged the move from Mississippi State University to VCU?
Well, it was a part of a tandem experience with my own personal employment transitioning to VCU, where I'm here now, an associate professor of political science. And as a result of me wanting to join the VCU community, I was gracious enough to be able to receive the welcome from the VCU administration, and particularly from my chair, Deirdre Condit, in political science, to also bring the National Association along with me. And I think it's a match made in heaven. VCU is a school, an institution that's really committed to the same types of issues that we are at NAAS, and so I think it's a good marriage.
Can you, we have some video footage of you leading a die-in protest.
Yes.
What's going on in this video?
Well, that is the video of me on the campus of Mississippi State University, where students was asked me to lead a march and a rally regarding the significant number of young men and women, mainly of African descent, black identifying persons throughout the country who have lost their lives at the hands of police in this country from coast to coast. And it was an opportunity for students of all backgrounds and faculty and staff as well there in Mississippi to really make a stand and stand with folks and the families of people like Eric Gardner and Michael Brown, and unfortunately the dozens and dozens of others, most of whom remain nameless. And we're obviously still seeing that fight today.
And who's your target audience for the organization of NAES?
Well, the National Association for Ethnic Studies invites community activists, scholars, academics, but also students to a whole host of our programs. But mainly what we do is an annual conference every spring. This coming spring, it's over St. Patrick's Day weekend in Tucson, Arizona, on the campus of the University of Arizona. And at that conference, it's usually a 2 or 3 day conference where we have not only paper presentations like a traditional academic conference, but also people who are doing yoga, wellness circles, dialogues, film screenings, and having real conversations about race and ethnicity in both the international and here in the domestic United States context. And so it's a great opportunity for students of all interdisciplinary backgrounds to be able to go to a national conference and receive a really warm welcome and good positive feedback as they move throughout their careers. And everyone can go to ethnicstudies.org and sign up.
I've been speaking with Ravi Perry. Thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
Local residents are saying goodbye to an old friend. For nearly 200 years, Blairs drugstore has serviced thousands of customers, but now it's shutting its doors. InSight's Nichelle Pearson spoke to the owner to find out why. After nearly 2 centuries, the decision was made to close the store.
After 182 years, Blairs Drugstore on Mechanicsville Turnpike has closed. This store stayed in business during major historical events, including the Civil War, 2 World Wars, the Depression, and countless others. In 1833, the Henrico-based pharmacy and diner started as a family business. Over the years, ownership passed to people outside of the family. Joy Rayfield and her husband took over in May 2014. Rayfield says financial reasons pushed them to close the store, a decision they made in September. She says making the decision was very difficult.
We were very stressed and we were concerned about what was going to happen to our employees and the customers.
The day the employees were told was full of sadness.
There was crying and there was a mix of emotions.
Area residents say they were surprised and sad to hear the news of the store closing. Many of them have been shopping here for years.
Russell Brown has been coming to Blairs for almost 30 years for prescriptions and food at the diner.
It's a fellowship place and we're going to miss that.
Irv Comer says he is surprised the store was closing, but understands why.
So I was a bit surprised, but I understand because the prices of things at the big chains are a little cheaper.
Rayfield says she'll miss the camaraderie with the customers the most. Customers say they'll miss this piece of history. For VCU InSight, I'm Nichelle Pearson.
Former Blairs customers can pick up prescriptions at Walgreens. Blairs owners are on site to help with the transition.
Get ready to lace up your skates. Short Pump has opened a new outdoor ice skating rink in the West Broad Village. Dozens of people came out to skate on the ice during opening night on the 13th. The new rink is located in the center of West Broad Village, right across the street from Aloft Hotel. This is the first time the Short Pump area has had an outdoor rink. Admissions is $10 for adults and $8 for children under 10 years old. Skate rentals are also available for $4. The rink will be open every day, including holidays up until January 18th. The hours of operation are posted online.
And finally tonight, according to the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs website, research is underway to see if having a furry companion can treat veterans with PTSD.
During the week of Veterans Day, some animal shelters within our area help vets get pets.
She may be tiny, but she's pretty feisty. Sweetie, a Chihuahua mix, is one of several dogs who is up for adoption for veterans, thanks to Ring Dog Rescue and their partnership with some animal shelters across our area. The prices to adopt a pet in the Henrico area can run anywhere from $10 to $25, but it was free for the veterans. Henrico Police Animal Shelter and 4 county animal shelters all participated. Shelter spokesman Lieutenant Chris Ely says the program offers a mutual companionship that is beneficial to both the veteran and the pet.
Once again, we hope that, by us offering this and working with our veterans, it'll provide them with something maybe to help them transition back from where they've been or what they're dealing with.
The U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs estimates that post-traumatic stress disorder affects about a third of Vietnam vets and around 10% of vets from the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Lieutenant Ely says that the program has long-term benefits for both the owner and the new pet.
Retired Army Sergeant Major Primus Liverpool agrees. He served for 31 years with 5 complete tours all over the world from Kuwait to Panama. He says that vets need to cope with their traumatic experiences.
These individuals seek or need something to try to chase away the demons or to ease the stress of deployment.
Even though officials say that research hasn't been found that animals can help with PTSD, Ely believes that animals can make a difference.
Some people, cope better when they have someone to cope with, and we're hoping the animals can do that.
Henrico Animal Police Shelter says that the program has been a huge success.
That's wonderful. What a wonderful program. I'm glad to see it was a huge success.
It was.
And that's it for this edition of VCU InSight.
Make sure to check us out online at insight.vcu.edu.
You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook under VCU InSight. Contact us with any stories you'd like to see on our show.
And if you missed it or you like to watch past shows, we're on YouTube under VCU InSight. Thanks for tuning in. I'm AC Stokes.
And I'm Matthew Foltz. We'll see you next time.